place than hell. I am inside of it right now. I am OG Rebel Brian, and I have the Yankee Tommy with me tonight. You are in the Yankee Rebel Wrestlecast. Good afternoon and evening, Tommy. Hope your day has been well, sir.
It has. Appreciate you in that introduction, man. It's been a great day. Looking to an even better night tonight on this Wrestlecast, and excited for our special guest today, man.
Speaking of our special guest, let's bring him on right now, Mr. Aaron Rose, the ring announcer extraordinaire. And I got to do something before we get started because we've got to have this done. Here we go, guys. We have a new head coach at the University of Kentucky, Mark Pope.
Yeah, buddy.
ATS.
Cats.
Oh, baby, let's go.
I'm adjusting that camera here real quick.
We've got new head coach Mark Pope at the University of Kentucky. Played with Jeff Shepard in that national championship team back with Patino. And we are excited to have Mark Pope. I think he's going to be a cool personality, Aaron. I think he's going to be a cool personality for the program.
Yeah. So, at first when all this was brought up, I wasn't sure. I wasn't too sure yet. Here, I'm getting some white. Hang on one second.
You go ahead.
Maybe.
I will say it was
There we go.
not a surprise seeing Coach Cal leave, especially after the way we exited. That was pretty abysmal given the team we had.
Well, so here's my thought on Pope. So at first I wasn't really sure about it. I mean, BYU and, he's not really proven as a coach yet. However, he knows the Kentucky mentality. He knows what they're looking for. And he knows that he also knows that he's going to be under a lot of pressure, and he's been under that pressure before. And not to mention, if I heard correctly today, he got a $4 million NIL donation right off the bat. How huge is that?
Yeah,
that's pretty big.
Also, two players that were not previously committed to BYU because of with Pope being there, but he goes to Kentucky. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, we're going. Let's go." So
yes,
the Kentucky name definitely shows that there's a lot of prestige behind that, and
absolutely,
and he knows what to look out for. Somebody said Jeff Shepard as an assistant coach. That would be awesome.
That would be amazing. That would be one way to keep Reed at Kentucky. So,
right.
Can I know this happen?
Well, I know this isn't the UK broadcast, but I do have my UK cowboy hat on. And guess what, Dave LaGreca? You don't have one of these, so suck it.
Yeah, I'm just now coming into all of this hate here with LaGreca, and I'm also seeing the Logan Paul sucks hashtag.
Yes.
Not afraid to put it out there, are you?
Absolutely not.
We do have the logo on the back of the shirts.
We have no shame here.
Yes.
Absolutely none. Absolutely none.
But we're going to jump into the show, and Aaron, you are a very busy man, and we're going to get in, which I'm probably going to hold this belt the entire show because I'm getting prepared, first of all, for the official. It's going to be magnificent. It is going to be the Yankee Rebel Wrestlecast official world title. Will be here next week.
Dude,
and it is beautiful.
Waiting for it. I've been waiting.
It is beautiful. So we've got our official belt. I'm gonna put it up on the line against Dave LaGreca if he lets me.
He doesn't have the stones, man.
No. But But we do want to talk to Aaron tonight, and he is our special guest. He and I have got a lot of history together, and we have crossed each other in other promotions, and we have both had the time of our lives in this wrestling industry. And how in the world they let me be ring announcer over Aaron and PWF, I will never know. But I did get the chance to do that and run some angles with Kentucky Hall of Fame legend Bobby Blade, and I love this guy till the end of the grave. And we had some battles, and I had to end up stunning him at the end of our rivalry.
Bobby,
and I got to pin him 1, 2, 3. And Aaron, I want to show for the record that I am 1-0. So
you have the pin over Bobby Blade.
So Aaron, let's talk a little bit about, first of all, how did you get into professional wrestling, and kind of where did that all begin?
So I kind of fell into it, honestly. I was working with the University of Kentucky hockey team. I was their play-by-play announcer. And I was also doing radio at the time. I was a producer and a reporter, and had an opportunity to kind of do a show with over in Lawrenceburg with Chris Jericho was actually signing autographs for that show. But it was kind of a stacked show. I had like Shark Boy, Matt Morgan, Doug Basham, had Rob Conway. It's kind of a loaded show. So that it was a cool kind of first experience. But, things with that promoter didn't really work out well. So, I kind of backed away from that. And then from there, I'd made good friends with Bobby Blade already early on in my career. Through the MySpace days. Yes, I am showing my age.
Yes, MySpace.
That's a throwback, baby.
Yeah.
You know who won't let social media go down? That was Tom.
That's right. Tom wouldn't have done that. So, and then he brought up a thing. He said, one of the promotions I'm working at right now, they're maybe looking for a change in a ring announcer. And he said, I'm doing it now. I think they're getting ready to put me as a manager. So would you want to come in and maybe give it a go? And I said, absolutely. So I started working with KCW in Lexington, Kentucky. That we are based at the, we are based at the National Guard Armory behind the airport there. And I started working a few shows with them. Probably did about 3 or 4 shows. And then on top of that, the MWA came calling, Mountain Wrestling Association. And, if you're familiar with Kentucky wrestling, Mountain Wrestling Association is one to top notch. That's the top notch promotion. They ran for over 40 years.
Yes. And
they started out as Mid-Continental Championship Wrestling based out of Georgetown. And then, they went all over the place. You want to talk to somebody about that? That's Bobby Blade, because he can tell you all about the history of the MWA. And so I got to do some stuff with them. And on top of that, the first iteration of New South was up and going. I was working with them. Who else? Oh my gosh, there were so many different promotions. Larry D's Primetime Wrestling.
Yeah,
that got going. That got going, and I actually helped him set that up. Our very first shows were actually in Midway, Kentucky. That was at the Thoroughbred Theater, only a little theater that held like 60, 70 people when you had a wrestling ring in there. But it was a cool little setup. Great for like little studio shows and stuff like that. So we were doing that, and then all that was going strong for a couple years, and I did some stints with the NWF as well. That's Roger Ruffin's promotion up in Cincinnati. And then 2012 comes along, and I get a call about a promotion starting up down in Corbin. And not to mention, I was actually a part of another promotion down there as well, called what was it, SXW?
Scotty Ray.
Scotty Ray's promotion.
Scotty
And
Ray.
that very first show he did, Raven was in the main event. I got to ring announce Raven in the main event.
That's freaking cool.
And then on top of that, Jerry Lynn was there, and he was supposed to actually be in action. That's when he got hurt right before that. So, but Jerry Lynn was just sitting out there the whole show and just hung out with us, and it was a cool experience. So he was impressed with some of my work. So that was pretty awesome. And then in 2012, I get a call for Pro Wrestling Freedom, and start doing that. And I'm starting out as a commentator with Bobby Blade and Mickey Knuckles. And then it's funny how a lot of stuff rotated. They had one ring announcer. He didn't work out. Brian, you came in.
Yeah.
And you got to work quite a few angles. While I'm working on commentary, I have, Russell Ryan with me. I have Bobby Blade. And everything switches up because Mickey Knuckles got back into wrestling. Bobby got back into managing.
Yeah.
And, so I just kind of had a good rotation of people that I worked with.
Dustin Wolf, I think, helped you a little bit as well, didn't he?
Yeah. He helped us out on the audio side of things.
On the audio, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So, and then in 2013, we had a good run going, and then we had the big angle where the Fear family took over on Pro Wrestling Freedom. And what sucks is literally the next month after all that happened, I get a call from my shoot job, and they say, "Hey, your hours are changing." I'm like, "No."
Jeez.
Oh.
Yeah. So my wrestling got very limited at that point. And I came back to Primetime Wrestling as doing a general manager gimmick with them. And then I helped them get their DVD tapings going, and got DJ Otis Badass on the call with me along with Bobby Blade. That was Otis's kind of first shot into professional wrestling as well. So, and then from there, after we got all that going, I had to move away from wrestling for a little bit and focus on the career. And I was working for a big box store, being a mobile sales expert. And then I got a great opportunity to work with Samsung, and things were going great with Samsung. It was amazing.
Yes.
And then COVID hit, and
Yep.
there went my job. And they cut about 250 jobs right off the bat.
Yikes.
Yeah. I was actually in position to move up in the company, and the position that they had for me also got wiped out. So I was off of work for a little bit. And of course I couldn't do anything wrestling related either because wrestling was on shutdown in 2020.
Talk about terrible timing.
It was not fun. And then in 2021, I got really, really sick. Actually, we're coming up on a year of that, or 3 years of that here pretty soon. I got really sick, ended up getting pneumonia, and it went into my bloodstream and went sepsis. And I found out at that point I was diabetic, and it was uncontrolled at that point. And that's when my body said, "All right, I'm done breathing." And I went on to a ventilator for a week.
I remember it, man. It was hard. It was hard to witness.
It was hard to relive like everything that Sarah, my wife, was putting up there. She was getting on my Facebook and making posts and just keeping everybody up to date. While all this had gone on, my body went into DKA. My kidneys shut down. My heart went AFib. I mean, it was a multitude of issues. And with my kidneys shutting down, they put me on dialysis, emergency dialysis. Thankfully, when I woke up, my kidneys kicked back, and that's
awesome.
That was the end of that. Most painful moment of that entire time, though, was when they had to pull the port. There's a port right there. They had to pull the port out of me for where they did the dialysis. And like, they basically asked my mom and my wife to hold me down because it was going to hurt that bad. And doctor goes in, just rips it out of there. I'm like, oh my God. So, yeah. But I came out of that just fine. Realized that I needed to kind of change up the career a little bit too. And I got into working a true like 8:30 to 4:30 job and Monday through Friday. And I'm like, well, this is an opportunity. Maybe I want to get back into wrestling. And all the while, my dad passed away in the middle of all of this in 2021. Yep. And, before he had passed, we had a kind of deep conversation. And one of the things he said was, do you miss wrestling? And I said, yeah, sometimes. I said, it's different, without it. And he said, if you ever get a chance, get a good run in for me. And I said, okay, I will. And that chance, boy, it came knocking quick. Because I was attending an OVW show in Georgetown, and Tony Presley of New South, who was talking to me, and he said, I'm thinking about getting started again. If you want it, you can be my ring announcer. I said, okay, let me think on it. And then January, he gets a hold of me, and he said, I'm doing it. Do you want in? Yes, I want in. So January 2022, I get back into it, work with, Gen X Pro Wrestling, New South Wrestling. Those were kind of the first ones I started working with. And then, boy, things started to pick up. Currently I'm working with Elite Wrestling Alliance. And Elite Wrestling Alliance has a big show tomorrow night in Frankfurt at the Thornhill Education Center. Yes, cheap plug. But it's our Rumble Royale event, so we're going to have a 30-man over the top rope Royal Rumble style match. And
Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble Royale. I'm working with them. I'm working with for those of you familiar with, I know there's a lot of you out there familiar with him, but Shane Mercer, he has a promotion out in Jeffersonville called
I think I have how he does it.
Yeah, that's it. XTF MBW. And I'm pretty excited for that because, XTF was for a long time just a kind of a backyard promotion. But the cool thing is, a bunch of these guys that work for it, they're like, we really want to make a good run at this. So they got trained. They're having training sessions all the time. And then I'm starting to get to call matches with guys like Congo Kong in there.
Yes.
I got to do one with Danny Maff. That's one guy I never thought I'd get to ring announce for. Danny Maff is a beast.
Yes.
It was actually him and Congo Kong in the first show.
Wow.
Lord Crew, Jake Oman.
Lord Crew, man. But you know what? A lot of people, Aaron, forget that Shane Mercer was in NXT.
Yeah. He had some spots in NXT.
He had some spots in NXT, and probably one of the finest wrestlers I ever seen. And until we were part of that PWF show in the London National Guard Armory, and Mickey Knuckles puts a trash can over his head, and they forgot that when plastic trash cans are made, they still have sharp pieces of plastic inside of it. She hits him with a baseball bat. He splits completely open. And in the state of Kentucky, we can't bleed.
Right.
So they had to rush him with the trash can over his head still, rush him out to the backstage area to get the blood to stop. And so it was just crazy. But Shane is a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah, he is. And he's done a great job at working with these wrestlers for XCF, and we got a big show coming up on the 26th as well, and that's their legendary event, which that was named after legendary Larry D last year.
Larry D, baby,
as they did a benefit for him when they had his house fire.
Yeah.
So He's going to try to do that every year now. So it's going to be like an annual benefit show for someone who needs it. This year, it's one of his wrestlers named Alex Cross, who in his match with Mercer ended up completely tearing his ACL. And I think MCL too. So definitely, we're there for him. We're gonna help him and his family out. So we're excited for that. And
that's pretty neat.
It's a big card too. Let's see here. I think I can pull it up as I'm talking to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on the card we have Jake Oman and Congo Kong. Big Zoe and Omega are going at it. A tag team that I'm really getting into, the Creekwater Syndicate. They are taking on the Fear family, and that's Nick Depp and Juicy Jimmy.
Nice.
Logan Myers, Eric Fallon, Matt Diesel going at it. John Wayne Murdoch and Angel Metro. Angel Metro, she's really coming along. I've seen her every show that she's been there. And it's just every time she's getting better and better and better, and she's getting those reps in. So it's cool to watch her. And then Mercer takes on Jamie Vincent, who Jamie has only been in the game for a few years, and he is like past 50. How cool is that?
Wow.
And he can go.
I can make a comeback, Aaron. I can make a comeback. Let's go.
You never left, baby. Come on.
Rebel Brian coming back. The Bandit's going to come back, baby.
And then we have a battle royal that night as well. So doing work with XCF. And then commentary-wise, I also get to work with a great promotion out of Knoxville called NGW. That's Next Gen Wrestling. My very first show I got to call with them, the main event was Tyler Breeze and Fandango versus Penta and Matt Cross.
No way, dude. No way.
Yeah. It was wild. Cheap plug. High Spots has this event available on their streaming site, so make sure you go join High Spots and go watch that show because that entire card was nuts. They were on there. Sue Young was on there. Golly, they're just so many people that I could name. Let's see here. Caleb Conley was on. He's on that card. Warhorse. I mean, it's like a who's who of indie wrestling. So NGW, and they've always had shows like that. And more recently, I got to do a no ring, no rules event with them. And the main event on that was Matt Cross versus Rich Swann. So,
wow.
Man.
Yeah. So
what happened to Rich Swann, man?
Rich Swann's he's in TNA.
Is he still in TNA?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's strong in TNA.
That man can go.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about it is, and I want you guys to understand, Aaron has announced some of the greatest stars in professional wrestling, and I can name so many that he like. Sarah
Just
Logan
later on New South.
Yeah, I mean Sarah Logan.
Mm-hmm.
With PWF, she was Crazy Mary Dobson with Madman Pongo.
Yeah.
We got to announce her. Zane was a part of PWF.
Alex Zane. Yeah.
Alex Zane. I think he went to NXT as well.
He did go to NXT, and he's making a much bigger splash in New Japan, though.
Yeah, and I mean, like even with SXW. Let's see, the Beer Money, James Storm and Bobby Roode.
Mm-hmm.
We had Dutch Mantel. We had, oh my God,
Adam Pearce.
Vader was part of PWF. Don't forget the Kentucky Gentleman. That's part of Best Friends.
Chuck Taylor.
Chuck Taylor. I mean, it's just Aaron has been around the block and has announced some of the greatest, not only known professional wrestlers, but the ones that have moved up into other major companies. So that's why it's so important to me, not only because of the relationship that Aaron and I've had over the years, but because of his accomplishments as a ring announcer, commentator, and everything as well.
Yeah, Aaron, how does that make you feel knowing that, like, back then you didn't realize it, but nowadays seeing all these stars that you've announced in like WWE, AEW, and all these promotions, how does that make you feel?
You know, the cool thing about it, you know, just going back and looking at it, be like, you know, that's like a cool thing to tell people. You know, so it's a story thing. But more importantly, knowing those wrestlers when I did and seeing what they've gone up to, it's showing a it's more of a sense of pride for them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're proud of their accomplishments. And you know, there's a lot of people that I keep in touch with on a regular basis. You know, I'm talk to Alex Zane probably once or twice a month just to see how everybody's doing. And
yeah,
and you know, I'm definitely proud of what that man has done. You know, it's just it's definitely a sense of pride for sure.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
But more importantly, wrestling for me is just kind of a way to escape reality, getting away from everyday life for a little bit, and just losing yourself in pro wrestling is a feeling that I wish more fans would have too. Because I know there's a lot of fans out there that kind of scrutinize everything they see, you know.
Yes.
Get out there and enjoy what you can. And, you know, and I'll tell you this too, you know, one of the greatest things that I've done in wrestling right now is it doesn't even have to do with commentary or ring announcing. I'm producing for a company called Appalachian Mountain Wrestling, AMW. And talk about a sense of pride. That's one of the things that I'm really proud of, because working with that company, that promoter Kyle Maggard, he works with all the schools that he can.
Yes.
And he's all about the kids. He's all about the students getting, number one, a show, number two, getting something they're working with, you know, getting them some extra money. Like last night, great example of this. We had a show in Leslie County in Hyden, Kentucky, which is the home of the world famous Jim Cornette incident, the Dairy Queen incident.
Dairy Queen, baby.
Yeah.
Jericho and Lance Storm in the back of the vehicle.
That building is still standing, mind you.
Yes, it is.
It's still there, and it's still a Dairy Queen.
Were you guys at the Richard M. Nixon Center?
No, we were actually at the Bobby Osborne Pavilion.
Okay.
So here's the crazy thing. Last night, that weather was terrible.
Yes.
Yeah. So with it being an outdoor show, I'm sitting here like, well, we'll get a few people, but it won't be madness, I don't think. Nope. 300 people later.
Wow.
Yes. 300 people wanting to watch their head basketball coach, John Noble, take on the Zodiac.
John Noble, baby.
Yes.
The greatest tights in professional wrestling.
That's awesome.
So, you know, it's that kind of stuff. And me as a producer, you know, I'm making sure all the technical stuff is working. I'm making sure the video's working. I'm directing the camera guys. I'm talking to the commentators. I'm talking to the ring announcer. That's what I do all throughout the night. I make sure things run as smooth as they possibly can. It's pro wrestling. Nothing ever runs completely smooth. Changes happen. It's going to happen all the time. But that's something I've learned to do with AMW. So my calendar definitely stays full, and I love every single minute of it.
I love AMW as well, Aaron. And when I lived in Hazard, I never missed a show. He knows this, but I love Kyle Maggard. Kyle is one of the greatest guys on the planet. And they've had the Rock and Roll Express. They've
yeah.
had all kinds of people, and Ricky Morton and his son actually went there a lot
Right.
because they wanted to support the mountains. And to me, AMW is probably the closest to Memphis wrestling that we'll get in today's market.
Yeah.
No question about it. I mean, you had guys like we had in PWF. You got like Zodiac and Scotty Diamond and people that would go down there and do a lot of work too. But there's so much homegrown talent in the mountains that it makes for such a good show. I mean, good guys that can actually wrestle good.
Let me, one of the guys that I can tell you about right now is Marty Clay. Yeah. Marty Clay he's actually on a plane right now heading down to Texas because he's getting a shot with the Reality of Wrestling with Booker T.
No way.
So
that's pretty big.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's huge. Really proud of Marty. Of course, guys like Stan Sierra. Stan Sierra.
Yes.
He's still in the game, and he's been their champion for 860 days now. Let's see who else. We have guys come down like from Southern Ohio, like Misery. He comes down. They had Brox Boulder and Lifeguard Ross, who some of their trainees up in Southern Ohio. They came down there. Guys like Bobby Love. Bobby Love's there all the time. Everybody loves Bobby Love in that area. You have, of course, Kyle. You have Noble. You have Zodi. You have AJ and Casey Kazana. They come up there a lot. Evil Eric Porter, he comes through there. It's a good lineup of people, and it's a rotating roster too. He has like 30 people that he rotates through, so no show is ever going to be the same. Chris Michaels, big time over there as well.
Oh yeah, man.
So,
so Aaron, I've got a question in the chat for you. Is New South ever coming back?
As far as I know, yes. Don't know when. That's my thing. So
yeah,
I'm trying to figure that out, just like you all are now. Obviously, I'm not trying to push the situation because it's whenever he's ready, and whenever that happens, we're coming back strong.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for what the future may hold. I know the show will be traveling, so I think Nicholasville might be a location that we want to stay at as well, because that building is awesome there.
Yes.
So
is that the building that Wildcat used to be in?
No, it's the oh my gosh, I can't remember the gym. It's a gym that is part of the Parks and Rec department.
Okay.
Coolidge Building. There we go.
Okay.
The Coolidge Building is that's where we were. So there's a lot of room in that building.
I would love that because it's so much closer to me than Lawrenceburg was, because I was having to travel like an hour to get there, and it was just so hard to get there. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to go to New South, but I'm like, it's we were going down to the actual hockey building. And everything, and it that was perfect.
Yeah, I love the building at the ice center. They just got a little expensive, that's the thing. When you're working with a building that's not really willing to work with you on the prices, sometimes you just got to cut ties.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. So, but when New South comes back, we'll be ready to go. One thing I do want to hit on though is, tomorrow, like I mentioned, we have that big Rumble Royale in Frankfurt for the EWA. But EWA is going to be making a little bit of a move as well. We did a debut show down in Richmond, and Richmond.
No kidding.
We were at the Telford YMCA. We put 200 people in there. So much so, I had so much of a crowd that we're going to have to rethink almost how we're going to have it set up in there so we can get more people in, because we want to open up both sides of the bleachers there.
What a great problem to have.
So big props to, big props to the crew that for EWA. We had a great show. That entire event is actually on the EWA YouTube page. So go check that out. I'm on the call with Bobby Blade, and some of you all may know him and some of you all may not. If you're very active on Twitter, a gentleman that goes by the name of Tripping Balls. He's on with us. Now, I will say this.
My name.
I will say this though. He's like one of the best wrestling influencers on Twitter right now, and he focuses on the indie side of wrestling. So
I have to go add this guy.
Yeah,
Tripping Balls.
It's at Is This Wrestling. So
This is wrestling. Okay.
And then we also had Austin Medler of NWF fame. He was doing some commentary with us as well. So you can hear the deep bench I get to work with when it comes to doing commentary. And I don't ring announce at EWA only because of the fact that we have a young lady there. Her name's Mercy Keller. She is a great up and coming ring announcer, and it's nice for me because I don't have to do the multitasking abilities. I just get to sit there and call the action as it happens there. I see your chat. You're getting some spam on Twitch, FYI.
Yeah.
It's that happens a lot. So we take those as viewers. That's fine. They can.
Yeah.
Please help my friend Amanda. It's her birthday.
So EWA's their next show is actually May 11th in Richmond as well.
Be there.
I will not be at that one. I will actually be producing for AMW that night for their Weekend of Champions event down in Jackson. We're going to be at Breathitt County High School.
Yes.
And that is actually featuring Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He'll be there for an awesome meet and greet.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, so we're excited to have him on board. I'm pumped for that because I've never been in the same building as Ricky Steamboat before at all. Never been there for a live show or anything. So this is kind of a cool experience. And that's not the only reason I'm going. I talked to the EWA promoter, and we want to make sure that my talents are being used properly. And the thing with EWA is after that show that we do in Richmond, we can actually just call everything in post-production. So I would be able to get the band together with Bobby Blade and Otis, and we can all call that action even after it happens. So, I'll still be able to be utilized at both shows.
Tell Bobby I love him.
Huh?
Tell Bobby I love him.
Are you going to be there tomorrow night?
There is a very good chance that I'm going to be. I got to talk to the wife and see what she wants. If she has anything planned, if she doesn't, then I'm going to head that way because I just want to hug Bobby Blade's neck. That or choke him out, one or the other. I don't know which. Because I still owe him for throwing powder in my eyes at the event that we were handcuffed to the ropes that night. So I have. But I learned a lot from Bobby and learned a lot about the wrestling business and being a ring announcer and then going into actually wrestling and him teaching me how to do a stunner correctly and all that. That was such a good experience for me. But I love that you are doing so much for the wrestling community and the wrestling industry. And it's meeting Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and doing a show with Ricky of how professional that he is going to be life-changing for you, Aaron. Because I've seen him in an indie format, and it is phenomenal. He makes the show feel like that it is a very, very even higher promotion.
Right.
And he is such a professional. And I love that about Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
And those shows too, we number one, big shout out to all the sponsors that we're going to have for that weekend for AMW. There's just so many of them, and some of the matches that we have announced so far, it's just getting better and better and better. So I can't find everything right now in regards to those matches, so I'll have to go back and show those. Oh wait, here we go. Let's see here. Maybe not. Okay, I'm having problems navigating it. So, but I'll send you in the group if y'all haven't joined the Yankee Rebel group. I can post those matches in there when I get everything.
Absolutely,
and
man.
Let y'all know what's going on. So, Marty Clay does have a chance to take on Stan Sierra on May 10th. That's the Friday night show. He's going to take him on for the title. So I'm pretty excited for that. That'll be a great match. Yeah, and there's the Rumble Royale event coming up. That's tomorrow night. So 30-man over the top rope Royal Rumble style match. And some of the talent that we have on there, you got Adrian Alexander, you got Joseph Miles. I'll tell you what, Ethan Heyer, that dude is blowing up. Seen him so much, just grow and grow and grow as a wrestler. Cole County Crusher is going to be there. You got Stan going to take a trip around Dead Man's Curve. There we go.
Yeah.
Heavyweight champion Clayton Cannon's going to be there. Gaston LaRue, Berto. Henry Shaw. It's going to be great. I'm excited for tomorrow night for sure.
And
So.
I think it's going to be an excellent show. Also, let's look at this show.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, let me fix that graphic.
So Chase Emery is very well known in the southeast region of the United States. Of course, Tyler Lee Deputy, he's I think I could be wrong, but I think this might be his debut in AEW. And then Evil Eric Porter, like I mentioned with him, he's a staple in that area. So good triple threat match for the Southeastern title contenders. And I think the winner goes on to take on Bobby Love the next night, I believe. So
beautiful.
But yeah, so it's going to be a 2-night event. I'm excited for it. So many sponsors to thank for that. It's wrestling is strong right now, guys. It really is.
It's really
coming off of WrestleMania and what a WrestleMania that was.
Yeah, can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, let's do it.
That was, started off strong, fizzled out, but then night 2 kind of really stole it. I
think both nights were good, and night 2 was great. But I just feel like the crowd in night 1 was maybe just a little bit more quiet. Wow.
Holy shit.
Oh my God. Who is that guy?
Wow.
That's scrappy. What a handsome devil. Holy shit.
Probably one of my greatest wrestling nights of all time. It was Ryan Dukey and Mickey Knuckles, which I love her. I will always love her. Versus Shane Mercer, that was part of NXT, and Cash Flow, the ex-world heavyweight champion for OVW, with your special guest referee, yours truly. And that is the night that I got hit with kendo sticks 4 times by Cash Flow. and then kicked out of the ring by Bobby Blade.
Yeah,
So-
I remember that. Golly.
My God.
Wow.
That's when I was the Bow Tie Bandit.
Uh-huh.
So that was a very, very fun night.
Wow.
I just had to find it and let Aaron see it, and we had to go nostalgic. That was
amazing.
a fun night. So
yeah, that was amazing. But WrestleMania, it just overall delivered. It was great, and a lot of people are motivated coming out of WrestleMania. A lot of people are excited to go watch wrestling after that, and in general as a whole, WrestleMania just kind of ushered in kind of a new era, and me as a fan, absolutely great to watch. I
Yes.
loved every single minute of it. I am going to touch on one thing coming out of that. The ring announcer, Samantha Irvin, for some reason has
God.
been getting hate for no
Yes.
reason.
And I don't
Yeah.
get it.
I don't get it. The thing about Samantha Irvin is, okay, number one, I'm jealous because she's calling WrestleMania. But
Yeah.
that's just me. But people putting her down for no reason, like, if memory serves me correct, I think I saw at one point where she's not fed the results of what's going on in the show. I'm pretty sure she's probably only fed results if something in particular needs to be announced.
Yeah.
So what you see out of her is pure emotion. And
Absolutely.
Well, you saw that after Cody won. I mean, she
Yeah.
could barely speak.
Yeah.
right.
I mean, she was crying.
Yeah. And and it happened with, I think, Sammy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just don't get the hate on it because,
Well, and it's also Brian Hebner, the son of Earl Hebner, that's giving her all the crap. And I'm like, when was the last time Brian Hebner was relevant?
right.
True.
Right. You haven't seen him in a while. But yeah.
I mean, already she's probably arguably one of the best they've had.
Oh yeah.
Like walk through those doors ever. And she's so young and she's only getting better.
Right. And
Yes.
I'm going to say this, like, for me, on a personal level, to me, the Fink is the greatest of all time. But I will 100% say that she is the best modern announcer out there.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And, it's funny. I've seen other people giving her hate too, and I'm just like, what's the point? What's the point? It's just, it shows that you're jealous of the position she's in. Me for example, like, do I covet that? Would I love to be a part of that? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Is it a realistic thing? No, it's not, because let's face it, being a ring announcer is a very, very limited position, and to be able to get up there and to be able to get to that level, you're basically they're grooming their people to do that.
Yes.
They're telling them, this is what we want from you. Work toward that goal. And a lot of the people who are ring announcers weren't really ring announcers before, but they turned into them because WWE saw something in them. And being able to be a part of that, would be so cool. But I know my position. My position is to help indie wrestling.
Yes.
And kind of leave it better than it is right now. But indie wrestling is also getting better and better and better. So,
well, let's face it too, Aaron. Samantha Irvin's living her best life. I mean, she's engaged to Ricochet.
Yeah.
And I mean, did you guys see her doing the rendition on flute of Scott Hall's theme song?
Yeah.
That was she's multi-talented for a reason, y'all.
She is sick.
Yeah.
I mean, she is living her best life, and seeing the emotion from her just makes you want to continue to love wrestling so much because it touches people in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's, you know, it's more of a raw emotion that you don't see anymore. You know, she's bringing it back.
Yeah, and just the fact that she makes every wrestler on the card feel like they're in that main event spot just by how she presents them. Because like it's easy to do, you know, kind of what even Tony Chimmel used to do.
Right.
If it was just kind of like a no-name guy, I'd be like, you know, I love Chimmel. I'm not hating on him, but if it was a nobody, he would just basically just kind of just say their name just normally. But Samantha Irvin just adds that extra element where she's making every wrestler on the card feel like they're in that main event match.
Yeah. So, you know, big props to her is all I gotta say.
Absolutely.
She needs to keep doing what she's doing and don't let the haters bring her down.
Truth. Absolute truth.
You know, WrestleMania just this year it definitely hit different, and it hit different in a good way. You know, you want to talk about long-term storytelling happening there. You know,
so many long-term things are just hitting one after the other other. I mean, especially when you bring in the whole Roman hitting Seth thing. I mean, that's 10 years worth of long-term storytelling. That, like, at first you might not have even thought about it, but then afterwards you're like, wait, Roman, his biggest downfall was Seth, which it was, you know.
Well,
there was pure magic.
Yeah, pure magic. And not only that, but even Monday night between The Rock and Cody, you know, that's long-term storytelling as well, because dashing Cody Rhodes came in and was like, Rock, I want to touch the new belt.
Right.
And what did The Rock say on Monday night?
No.
I want to touch your belt because I've never held that belt before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, come on, man. We're going into a lot of years back here. And that's, you know, that's prior to him going to AEW. That's all kinds of things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that just, I think, just goes to show you how much more is being put into it than what it was before with Triple H now at the helm. It's not like things are just being done to be done. There's purpose behind every single thing that they're doing, every interview, every match. So you really got to pay attention to catch those because, you know, they're going to tell a bigger story than what's in that ring.
The future is definitely looking good, 100%. So, more so than I can say for another promotion, but we won't go there.
We're gonna go there. We're gonna go there. Don't worry. It's gonna happen.
I have some choice words for that certain promotion. But
well, listen, you know, I only got a few minutes left, but I will be tuning in to what you all have to say in regards to that later on. Oh my gosh.
So Aaron, I've got you 6 minutes left because you gave me your time limit.
Yeah.
Go ahead and I want you to take us out on your part of the segment on anything else that you're seeing in the wrestling industry that makes you happy or upset. And I want you to promote yourself one more time with all your socials and everything as well.
Okay. Well, first of all, things that are making me happy is, you know, you're seeing a lot of great wrestling everywhere right now. You know, there's good to be had wherever you go for the most part. You know, I know there's a couple places that you're like, but that's the way it's going to be with any indie wrestling. So there's definitely a lot of good stuff going. You know, things that it's not necessarily making me upset, but when you see companies kind of taking pot shots at one another, it harms the business a little more than it does good. And wrestling as a whole, that doesn't need to be happening. Now, that being said, if something happens that is a wrong, it does need to be addressed. And I've seen that a few times already since I've been back. So, the big thing for me is keep growing wrestling the best way you know how. And if I can offer anything to any fans who are watching and who are listening, go support indie wrestling, because you never know who is going to be making that call up. Chuck Taylor, for example, is on AEW. We knew him when he was, wrestling out of the Northeast, and he was doing stuff with IWA Mid-South, Chikara, groups like that. If you were a Chikara fan back in the day, look at the talent now. That's all over the main promotions. So go support indie wrestling. That's my big thing. Socially, if you want to follow me, I do a lot of stuff on TikTok. It's at Aaron RKY. I do a lot of ring announcing clips there and commentary clips. I'm on Instagram as Aaron RKY1, on X or Twitter as Prep Spin Aaron, which I do a little bit of work with the Prep Spin crew, especially during football season. Hard to believe here in a few months we'll be talking about that again. And then you can find me on Facebook as ring announcer Aaron Rose. You'll be able to see all my stuff there. And then, of course, you can find my regular Facebook page. Just come find me. I'll be around. I typically will add you if you just let me know who you are or how you found me. Sometimes I'm getting requests from people that just I have no idea who they are. So, definitely check that out for sure. But yeah, man, it's wrestling is fun right now, and I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm glad to be talking with everybody about it too. I'm doing a little bit of work with the Ring Generals group as well. So they do wrestling interviews as well. But I like what I see with you guys, and I'm really excited to see where Yankee Rebel goes from here.
Yes.
You all have a great thing going, and just keep pushing for that moon, guys. For real.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
So,
thanks, Aaron.
I'll definitely be glad to come on again in the future, and I would love to do a whole show.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
If you need a guest host sometime, I'll be glad to come in and have some fun with you guys and just kind of shoot the breeze a little bit but yeah, this has been cool, and just again, keep supporting indie wrestling. That's all I can say. So on my going out moment, tomorrow night, EWA Rumble Royale, Thornhill Education Center in Frankfort, Kentucky. Get there early, because I think if you do VIP, there should be a bonus match happening as well. Let's see here. Do we have early access? Yes, 6:00. So if you do the early access ticket, thank you for that.
Right on time.
Yeah, if you do the early access ticket, it's $15, and I'll get you in. So special bonus match beforehand as well. So y'all, it's going to be a fun night tomorrow night, and I'll look forward to seeing y'all there. And of course, if anybody is in the Louisville area, come out to XCF on the 26th. That's a Friday night, and that's another Rumble event, but it's a benefit for Alex Cross, and for him to kind of help out with some bills and stuff like that. Because being a wrestler, insurance is not a great thing for you, because
very much.
If you're injured, then you're kind of on your own. So, but yeah, so that's what I got coming up, and maybe in the future I can do like an indie wrestling roundup with you guys or something. Maybe we can do that as well. So, just ideas.
Give me just a minute. I got to find one thing left that I made before you head out.
All right.
Actually, my wife made, and I've got to find it really fast because we will zoom in on this. So there we go. There is a little bit. Let me zoom in on it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, and we'll post this on our socials too as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
My wife made this, and she is our graphic design guru, and we're going to post this, and you're feel free to use it. And she does all of our graphic work, and just such a great thing to have somebody with that kind of talent.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like, I could be wrong here, but I feel like I've seen that style before. That's awesome. Like, does she rock the Canva life too?
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I love Canva.
Oh yeah.
Yes. you need to like have talent to use Canva for sure.
Yes.
But boy, it helps to have some good templates to work with. Like, yes. That's awesome.
And I'll actually send this over to you right now.
Yes,
Aaron.
please do. Thank you. I'll get that posted.
I mean, she is really a big part of us looking as good and everything with this show. So we really appreciate you, Dee.
Well, and I want to give her a shout out too, because back in July, we had lost one of our dogs.
Yes.
Our dog passed away. Her name was Lucy. She was almost 16 years old, and she lived one heck of a life. Well, Dee was awesome because she made a memorial piece. She made a memorial piece with Lucy, and we actually have that framed along with her paw print. So
nice.
So, we have a nice little memorial to her, and that wouldn't have been possible without her. So big thanks to her.
Yeah.
For sure.
And she's a strong woman. She's defeated cancer. She's recovered from torn Achilles. I mean, she has had one hell of a couple years, and so she is my rock. She is my motivation to keep going.
Absolutely.
And so definitely. But Aaron, on behalf of Tommy, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for supporting Yankee Rebel. We couldn't do this without the indies. We couldn't do this without the WWE, AEWs, TNAs, but we're able to promote indie better because of contracts and all that stuff.
Right.
So we really want to focus on the indie wrestling world and promote indie wrestling. Every show that we see on Twitter, we repost it onto our Twitter and Facebook, and we're going to continue to do that. We want to promote wrestling, help wrestling, and fill those stands up in every type
Absolutely.
of indie wrestling event.
Absolutely. And indie wrestling is grateful for that, for sure.
Absolutely. But Aaron, it has been an honor, my friend, and I'm so glad that over the years that we have crossed paths so many times. We worked together in the wrestling business, and every friggin' show that I go to, Aaron Rose is right there. It doesn't matter if the show's in Cincinnati, I'm going to run into Aaron Rose at some point. So I appreciate you, man. I love you. And just best of luck. Keep filling up that calendar, and let's get you back on in the near future.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much,
coming on, Aaron.
All right. See you guys.
All right. So
man, that was awesome.
He is a phenomenal person. Let me get us back into our next topic. And I want to go ahead and send that to him real fast before I forget, because I will. And that's just part of who I am. So you guys will have to forgive me for that. So
I mean, we are human, Brian. So
are we? First off, I want to say here is the Logan Paul Sucks t-shirt. It is available on our Facebook page and also on Twitter. It has hashtag Logan Paul Sucks on the front, and on the back As you guys can tell, it has our logo on the back. And
please support y'all.
Make sure for the support. We are excited to have merch. We also, let me just pull it up. Hell, we might as well just pull it all of it up here while we're at it, so we can let you guys see this. Give me just a minute.
I just want to say, if you're gonna get any shirt, please get the Yankee Rebel Tommy NWO Wolfpack style, baby.
Stop it.
Team Yankee T, baby, all the way.
Stop it.
Down with the black and white, in with the red and black attack. I mean, you can't beat him, baby. You can't beat him.
Stop it. All right, so here we go. This is our shop. We are. Let me go ahead and get us over here. Well, damn it to hell. Let's see. All right, so let me zoom in here. We'll go through them. This has also got my weather gear on it as well. But the black and white NWO style t-shirt is OG Rebel B. You need to go get the black and white. The black and white was before the red and black. Just so you guys know, make sure that you go and support that shirt and buy it before.
Oh, dear God.
These shirts are only $25. I mean, it's cheaper than any NWO shirt that you're going to get. Dustin is saying Sizemore for Prez. He says Wolfpack is in the house.
Thank you.
Dustin, you need the black and white.
Thank you. No.
Damn it, my friends are even traitoring me, man.
Wolfpack is back causing mass destruction. Let's go.
But this is our store. This is actually Sizemore Unlimited. We just went with that name because that's what it just came up that way. But it also has my weather stream stuff on it as well. I do want to scroll down. So we also have the official weather spotter shirt, but let me zoom in just a tad here because I want to show this ugly son of a bitch. So right here, we have the Logan Paul Sucks t-shirt. It's available in a lot of different colors. And it also has the Yankee Rebel Wrestlecast logo on the back of it in all the way big. And then here's the Dave LaGreca shirt that I want to zoom in on, as promised.
By the way, limited edition.
Limited edition.
So get it while you can.
On this asshole's stuff. So this is the Dave LaGreca Sucks t-shirt. If you don't know who Dave LaGreca is, he is the host of Busted Open Radio on Sirius XM. The back of the shirt says Yankee Rebel Wrestlecast, and it's got his big dumbass in a pink robe with his headset on. Mine will be in next week. I will be wearing it next week. And this is all on our Facebook and also on our Twitter. Go order you some Yankee Rebel Wrestlecast gear. Because you will be very happy with the quality. I mean, look at this t-shirt. It is absolutely fantastic quality, and it helps us to go into get more things for the WrestleCast that we need. So go and check those out. And $25. I mean, it's cheaper than going to a wrestling show and buying a $40 t-shirt. So there is that. But I've got the Logan Paul Sucks on right now. It's like it's built into the shirt. It doesn't have that stickiness that it rolls up on you when you put it on style wrestling shirt. Dustin said, nah, bro, I'm Team Sizemore for life. Just remember my last name. The Wolfman. I know he is. But let's jump into WrestleMania real fast. We won't talk too long about Mania, but I do want to talk about the Hall of Fame. And pardon me for the language, but let's just play the damn clip. Hang on just a minute. Let's just play the clip.
Production truck, roll it.
Yeah, hang on. Let's just play the clip because that way I don't have to say it and hurt somebody's feelings.
I mean,
all right, hang on. I just got to find the really quick clip of it. Hang on just a second. All right. Hang on, we're going to...
Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, viewer discretion is advised. Let's
One
go
of the
back.
greatest lines you'll ever hear in professional wrestling.
Give me just a moment.
I just want to say, Brian, while you're finding that,
hang on. He still had his... He had his gear on still.
Hey Brian, if you pull up my my Twitter, I believe I retweeted that.
Okay, let's go to it real fast because that's not a good version. That's somebody in the friggin' stands.
Literally. Yep.
Yeah, hang on. Let me go to that real fast.
It's a quick 6-second. He jumps right to it.
Yeah, I'm jumping into that right now.
Yeah, because he was talking about, ECW. If you think it died, back in that hall, you can do what Paul Heyman says.
Let me get to it. Hang on just a second. All right, and here we go. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. Let me click on it here. We got to turn it up. All right, and this is him talking about ECW, and if you think the spirit of ACW has went away. Yeah. So So
Brian, I couldn't hear anything on my end.
Yeah. So basically, Paul Heyman said, if you think that the spirit of ECW died,
you can suck his fucking dick.
Yes, it's exactly what he said live at the Hall of Fame. I don't think anybody has ever said anything like that at the Hall of Fame, period.
No, that is probably one of the most iconic moments in the history of the Hall of Fame.
Yes,
no question about it. When I heard that, my jaw was literally on the floor.
Yes,
because something like that, I mean, talk about a new era. We're getting into that era as we talked about last week, and these wrinkles are really starting to unfold. And it's starting to snowball. And I think you're going to see a lot more of this edginess.
Yeah, hang on. Dustin Wolf's in here. Hold on. C-A-T-S, cats.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So, sorry, I couldn't help myself. Could not help myself again. But Dustin Wolf's in here, and he's the biggest UK fan that I know, period. And I've got my UK cowboy hat on today, and I figured I would let him have a little moment. But Hall of Fame was good. I hated that people left after Paul Heyman because it just kind of was disrespectful. They, I know that everybody was there to see Heyman and everything, but it's kind of disrespectful. And I guess if you wanted to go drinking and if you wanted to go back to the WWE world and all that stuff and check out everything and all that, I get it. I've left stuff early before too, but it was still kind of disrespectful to the other recipients of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and I honestly feel like part of that's also on WWE for making that the order, because historically, always the marquee person has always been the last one to go out.
Yes.
So people have to stay to give the others that respect. But the fact that they flipped that, I don't think they'll be doing the same thing next year. I think next year they're gonna have to go back.
So let's jump into WrestleMania real fast, and let's kind of high trigger this. Again, we want to thank Aaron Rose for being our guest this evening. He is one of my favorite people in the world, and I have called a lot of matches with him. I almost got hit with a whip by Dutch Mantel, and that was crazy. He actually, I interviewed him on the radio beforehand, and it was the scariest thing of my life because I thought he was going to absolutely curse the entire time that he was on the radio. But he gave us some great stories and everything. But I've done so many shows with Aaron Rose that I fully respect this man, and I fully respect his love for indie wrestling. So we thank him for being on. But Tommy, what was your best of the best and worst of the worst for WrestleMania?
Well, I'm going to start off with the worst of the worst, and I think you can kind of echo the sentiment given how passionate you were about it, was the Uso versus Uso match. I personally think that match was probably one of the worst matches of the night, given the hype you had behind it and the story you could have really delved into with it. I think it under-delivered. It was a very anticlimactic ending, and just left me with more questions than really answers.
I agree with that. And I want to take a question or a comment real fast. Jordan said that Paul Heyman went first so that that he could be the official first inductee of Triple H's first Hall of Fame class. And then Robert Morrow said that the Usos was the worst damn match of the night, maybe for even Mania.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't.
It was underperforming. I mean, you got that match right, but I didn't think that we were going to get that Jey Uso push. I didn't think so.
Well, and you didn't even have anything with Solo. Like, you could have instantly had something with Solo being their younger brother, having some influence in that match.
Yeah.
I mean, they, not on air, but, there was a teasing of maybe Rikishi coming out and having some type of influence. You had nothing. And I don't even think the match went 10 minutes. It was
not a bit.
It was very anticlimactic, and honestly was one of the worst matches I've seen at WrestleMania.
I will agree. Do you think that night one, other than Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch and the tag team match, do you think night one was kind of flat?
Yeah, I mean, it started off on a high, with Rhea, Becky. They really kicked everything off, and I mean, that was a great match. And then it just kind of for me, just went downhill. And with the Usos match was that peak to get you back up there and get that interest up, get the crowd going again. And you didn't have that. And I feel like that match, in my mind, being so pivotal where it was in the card, really under-delivered and left you just feeling uneasy about it.
Gunther and Sami Zayn. Why?
The only thing I can think is they're obviously going to be pushing Gunther for one of the world titles after the draft. But I'm not a fan of how it ended. I think Gunther should have held that belt a little bit longer. And because I just don't think Sami Zayn, like we've mentioned, was the guy to do it. It just, to me,
What is it that the fans love about Sami Zayn? I mean, I've watched him as El Generico on ROH years and years ago. Love the gimmick. But the thing that bothers me, and I'm probably going to get some hate over this, but who cares?
Who gives a shit?
Don't bring your religion into wrestling. And he had a shirt that was symbolizing the wife of Muhammad, don't bring all that shit into professional wrestling. Let's keep religion out of wrestling, and let's make shirts that are for wrestling fans, not your religious bias.
Yeah.
And that goes for everybody. I think we need to keep religion out of wrestling. I want to buy Sami Zayn t-shirts. I don't want to buy your religious shirt.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, Shawn Michaels did do it, I believe, when he came back, because he was a born-again Christian.
Yeah.
So it's like blurring those lines of wrestling and reality, So
I mean, I'm okay with it outside of wrestling. But let's keep it out of the ring. I'm like, that's great. You promote your religion outside of wrestling. You do it on your social medias. That's great, but leave it out. Let's wrestle. Let's not have agenda and politics. It's the same way with CM Punk and AEW when he was doing the shirt talking about women's rights and all that stuff. Keep that shit out of wrestling. Let me buy a CM Punk t-shirt, and that's it. I don't need your opinions and your views on a t-shirt that goes on WWE Shop or AEW Shop.
Well, right, because that's something that you can promote outside of it. And hey, like, if you want to wear it, it is what it is. But we don't need to hear about it in certain storylines or it being blasted everywhere.
Yeah.
Because that can go with anything. It's like, you may not like my opinions, my religious views, but hey, they're mine. But I'm also not going to push that in your face either.
I mean, I understand, CM Punk with the straight edge. The straight edge is good because it helps promote kids not to do drugs. And it was a great story angle with Jeff Hardy, which was having troubles keeping himself clean.
Yeah.
But the straight edge was fine because that's teaching kids, hey, don't do drugs. That's fine. But don't push your opinion and your religious views on me during wrestling, because I don't give a shit about that. All I want to know is how good you are in the ring. That's all I care about.
Right, because as even Aaron was talking about, wrestling is a place to escape the reality, to escape all the politics and all that other mess. It's like, we don't need that.
I totally agree. So here we are getting on tangents already.
Yeah, I know. And, like, back to Sammy as a Intercontinental Champion. His character took such a fall from grace in the past year. He went from on top of the world. Everyone loved him. I loved him when he was with Kevin Owens and they took down the Usos and were trying to take down the Bloodline. And then now it's just, you got a lot of Sammy crybabies.
Yes.
Who are just whining and complaining. That's all he's doing is whining and complaining.
Yeah.
And now, him and Chad Gable, like, Chad Gable's a great wrestler, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to see that match.
Chad Gable would be a better Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He needs his due.
He's long overdue. Long overdue. So I think they screwed that up.
What about the tag ladder match? How are you with it?
So it piqued my interest when they announced that the winner is announced when both belts get removed, which instantly piqued in my mind, and I posted on Twitter X. I was like, are they splitting these titles up again? Because they announced the draft's coming in less than a month, so I'm like, they're going to split these titles up.
Yeah.
And again, the awesome fucking truth. I don't get it. I don't. To me, they're not a legitimate tag team threat. It's like at this
I've got
point,
to disagree, Tommy.
It's like you're giving R-Truth his 61st championship in WWE, and 57 of them or whatever were the 24/7 7-Eleven New Jersey Turnpike bullshit.
But the Miz needs this title run to make himself legitimate again. because the Miz has went down to a mid-carder, and he's got to find a way to build himself back up into that title contention.
I mean, one could argue he's been in the same breath as like Natalia, as a veteran who's just kind of there, because that's kind of how he was the past year or so. It's just
let me read you a tweet. So keep on talking.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it from the perspective of they're probably going to continue this whole Judgment Day story. So from that aspect, I get it. However, from my standpoint of like when tag team wrestling was at its peak and you had these 3, 4, 5 just legit deep tag teams, and I know he's building it up, but to me, I don't see them as long-term tag team champions at all.
Hang on just a second. I want to go on this because hang on just a second. Let me. All right. Well, hang on. Let's go to this other side. Here we go. All right. So speaking of Natalia, Jesus Christ. Natalia said, very proud of that match with Roxanne. I respect her passion. And the one of the guys from Wrestling Purist said it's the best wrestling match on American TV this week was Roxanne Perez versus Natalia. Shocked it got no attention, but the work was tight, snug, snappy. Really good TV match that flirted with trending towards great. And she's like very proud of the match with Roxanne. I respect her passion. And Bully Ray, also a busted open, which I respect.
Yep.
He says, ugh, enough with this babyface bullshit. You're a heel and you know it. Start talking trash, kicking ass, and putting these chicks on notice, because ain't none of them want to fuck with a heart. Love, Uncle Bully.
Hello. Preach to the choir here.
And that was, and I agree.
Wholeheartedly.
Natty is not one of those wrestlers that should be doing oh, you did a great job and you're going to be such a great superstar, but it's who they've turned her into. She's a heart. She should be out there kicking ass and beating these women up every night. Like if Rhea Ripley's fighting somebody, Natalia needs to show up and start whooping ass.
Yeah, I mean, that's been missing from her gimmick.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. That's been missing from her gimmick for years. She's been, I mean, washed. She's not washed, but it's like they're portraying her as this, like she's like a veteran jobber is essentially what she is.
That is exactly what she is.
She's a veteran jobber, and she has that name. The only female to graduate from the Heart Dungeon. And you're treating her as if she's a glorified jobber.
Yep.
And I'm honestly surprised she stuck around this long, because I'd be ticked. I probably would have left a long time ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's sad. So, if she wants to resurrect her career, she needs to get on that heel turn.
Agreed.
Real quick.
And honestly, it's not left. It's because she has that in every match, and she just, whatever. But what do you think other portions of Mania was at least good?
So obviously, the both main events I thought flowed very well. I did read something, because I know you and I talked off air about how interesting it was about The Undertaker, on how he was there, and none of us really thought about him really coming into it, but someone had posted, I don't know how true it is, so don't quote me, that the only reason Stone Cold wasn't there was because they couldn't agree on the money side of things. Now, I don't know how true that is, but I'm starting to come around on the Undertaker front, as far as he was one of Roman's bigger adversaries, being Roman the main point of this whole thing, I think it did make sense. However, I think everybody really wanted to hear that glass shatter and just see
Absolutely.
stunners fly and beers fly. And, I think it would have been.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but how many Manias have we seen that shit happen lately?
I mean, besides 38, I think it's been a few years. I mean, granted, that's kind of his thing now.
Yeah.
But I mean, it has gone down than it was before, because you remember back in the early 30s of Mania, he was there for almost every one, and it was almost overloaded with legends. As far as like they oversaturated the current talent and took time away.
Yeah.
So, but I thought everything flowed together naturally, and just that sequence towards the end where you could kind of see it building and building and building, that last crossroads, man, that was, and again, hearing Samantha Irvin call that at the end, that was just poetic. That was just,
which Matthew said that she doesn't want to be told the winner of the matches because she wants that pure raw emotion.
right, and that's kind of like
so that is awesome to me.
Right. Because that's a la, what Jim Ross would do. For years, he wouldn't really know the ends of the matches because he wanted to give you that raw, visceral emotion to really make you feel that, because that's his job, is to make you feel it. And she makes you feel it every time.
Yes.
So Brian, what was your overall best match of Mania weekend?
Best match of Mania. I would say, of course, Cody and Roman. It made me jump up some. I enjoyed the main event tag team of night one as well. But everything else to me was kind of lackluster. Some of it felt rushed. But I would definitely say the main events of night 1 and 2 was my favorite.
Now, would you say, from a feeling perspective, when Cody hit that last crossroads and that 1, 2, 3 happened, did you kind of feel the same way when, I mean, maybe not on that large of a scale, but when Brock beat Taker as like you didn't really see it coming, but you kind of saw it coming at some point?
I didn't get excited when Cody won.
Okay.
I didn't. I didn't get excited when Cody won. I wanted to keep seeing Roman win. But I knew that we were going to start a new era. And I knew that Cody was going to win. And it left me a little flat. But Cody dresses the part as a champion. He has the heart of a champion. But I'm not a Cody crybaby like Dave LaGreca and smoking cigars with Cody Rhodes and all that stupid stuff. I respect Cody Rhodes as a wrestler, and that's it. And so it just left me flat. I'm like, it got done. I was at my brother's house, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna head home now because this bullshit's over. So, that's the way it made me feel. Yeah. What about you? Did you have that little kid heart and be like, oh my God, he finished the story?
No, I wasn't that super giddy. Okay, but it was, so like I'm happy for him in the sense that, we all know how much he loves the business, how much he cares about it, and to see that viscerally on my screen is refreshing. I will give him that. I didn't jump out of my seat because I kind of figured it was going to happen. I mean, it kind of made me even more flat that I didn't get to see the GOAT Stone Cold Steve Austin. But, you know, it was overall great storytelling, but I wasn't left over the moon, especially, you know, prior to we found out that he's the first WWE athlete to be signed with Prime, who was promoted by hashtag Logan Paul, who also sucks, by the way. Get that T-shirt and let everyone know how much
that
he
actually made me hate, almost dislike Cody to a certain extent. That
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want you to be champion.
Yeah, and we had talked right before Mania went on that, you know, at that point we kind of want Roman to keep going with it, because to be affiliated with that pile of trash is just, it's not good for you, bro.
No.
At that point, that's all money, and that's
Yeah.
just what it comes off to me as, is just money.
But overall, Mania was fantastic. It wasn't the biggest Mania of all time. No. WrestleMania 13 was the biggest Mania of all time, and that was Stone Cold and Brett.
That was such a great Mania.
I've got the jacket. I bought the chalk line jacket that's got Stone Cold and Bret Hart on the back of it with the Fire WrestleMania 13 logo. And that to me was the best WrestleMania we've ever had, because you had two guys that could go. You had Stone Cold not tapping because he was bleeding profusely in the ring. He was in the sharpshooter. That's what excites me. The crossroads, the Cody cutter off the second rope, that shit doesn't impress me a bit, because I could do those moves. To put somebody in a perfect sharpshooter, that takes some wrestling ability.
Technical wrestling ability.
Give me the Bret Harts, the Dean Malenkos, the Chris Jerichos, the Bryan Danielsons, all those guys. That is what would make WrestleMania special.
Chris Benoit.
Benoit was great.
Yeah.
But fuck him for killing his family. So,
correct. Eddie Guerrero. I want to throw
Eddie
him
Guerrero,
in there.
Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero in WCW, some of the greatest matches ever made.
Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. I could watch those matches all day long and twice on Sunday.
Allegedly, I'm sorry. My wife told me to say allegedly that Chris Benoit killed his family.
Yes. Emphasis on allegedly.
Yes, allegedly. But with that, I want to jump into AEW real fast. This is where shit's going to go downhill real quick.
Son of a bitch.
I'm going to let you start off on this, because you've got some strong opinions on what AEW is doing
or not doing.
What they're not doing.
So
go ahead, Tommy.
Why back-to-back weeks in a row do we have to have AEW calling out WWE and or a WWE superstar now to start off your show, to try to get the clicks, the likes, the viewership? Because let me just bring the AEW Dynamite viewership, okay? After last week's
fucking marks,
this past week's Dynamite, they averaged 819,000. It crossed the 800,000 mark. So it started off, where was it, with 981,000 in the first quarter hour.
Yeah.
Then the next half hour dropped by 13%. And then for that Punk Perry video, which you're going to get into, it went up 3%. But then declined the whole rest of the show, with the Samoa Joe and Dustin Rhodes match getting 723,000 viewers. So you're telling me in the span of an hour, you lost over 200,000 100,000 people watching your show.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How does that happen?
You tell me. You tell me.
And then we're gonna go to Raw. The Raw after Mania. I get it. It's a Raw after Mania. It's going to be a bigger one. Average 2.36 million viewers. Had a 32% increase in viewership. While the key demographic of 18 to 49 registered a 41% gain. So you tell me what the difference is. Is that one company is focused on the task at hand, while the other company is just trying to go at the other company to bring them up when they need to be focused on their own shit.
Yeah. Oh my God. Here's the way I look at it. I was born in 77. I went through the 80s, I went through the 90s, I went through the 2000s, and now we're here. When Eric Bischoff was losing access to WCW and he left and Vince Russo took over, AEW is seeing a Vince Russo type era with the Young Bucks running things at the helm. They don't have any responsibility and guidance at the top because Tony Khan right now is got his hands in too many things. The Jacksonville Jaguars, all this other bullshit, and to run a video of Jungle Boy that's not longer in AEW either. He's in New Japan. And then a guy that left and went back to WWE, and their big moment of Dynamite is, we're going to show you what happened backstage with these guys, and this is what happened. That's some shit that Vince Russo would do. That is the equivalence of them going to Hogan and Jeff Jarrett for the title, and they said, Hogan, you're going to win the title tonight. And then they go before the show starts and they look at Jeff Jarrett and say, Jarrett, you're taking the fall tonight. So then Jeff Jarrett goes out, the bell rings, Jarrett hits the ground, Hogan pins Jarrett and becomes the champion, and Hogan leaves. And then Russo comes out and he's like, Hogan, you piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. And it is the same bullshit that Vince Russo did in WCW that to me caused the death of WCW. And if AEW doesn't get back to what they were at with the pillars, they're going to start seeing a decline. They're going to go back into the 600,000 viewership, and it's going to start dwindling down until they fade out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that, WWE...
And I've got an AEW belt, a full replica belt over here because I love AEW. I love AEW wrestling, but I don't like this product right now.
No, and that's the funny thing is we both love AEW. I've been to several of the shows when they've come to Rochester.
Yeah.
I like AEW. It's different in a good way, or it used to be. Now, it's kind of cringy to watch because I don't know.
It's shitty booking, Tommy. It's shitty booking.
Yeah. Like, it's just a mess. It's a fucking mess, and it's sad because they do, one thing that Tony Khan does, he just writes checks. He has an unlimited thing. He just write checks to guys like Will Ospreay, who is another ignorant motherfucker. Great wrestler, but ignorant as all hell. Because that gets me the next thing. Triple H was asked in an interview, not during a live show, not on a Raw, not on a Mania, not nothing, just on an interview about certain wrestlers not coming to WWE. Yeah. And Hunter eloquently described Will Ospreay as I don't want guys who don't want to come here who are afraid of the grind.
Yeah.
Didn't say Will Ospreay, but we all know it was Will Ospreay.
Absolutely.
And the fact that they think it's a good idea to go on live television in an interview with Renee Paquette, and he brings up, the only reason that he's where he is because he's grinding on the boss's daughter.
Yeah.
We all know that isn't why Hunter is where he is today.
No, and Stephanie hasn't been part of the product in forever.
No, she left a couple years ago. She stepped down, said, it's too much. But the fact that is your comeback, is to say he got there because he slept with the boss's daughter is ignorant.
Absolutely.
If you're a fan of pro wrestling, if you are a historian and just love the history of it, you would know that's an ignorant statement. Given what he did to build up NXT to where it is, from being that stupid game show shitting thing to now it being a legitimate wrestling brand where all the hottest stars come and hone their craft and get sent up to Raw and SmackDown, you're telling me that all means nothing. He just was grinding on Stephanie. Get the fuck out of here.
Absolutely. And honestly, it's not even really that. It's you can't help two people falling in love.
No, it happens all the time. So to just say that's the reason someone is successful, when he of all people should know that ain't the case, it doesn't make him look good. It doesn't make AEW look good. It looks sloppy.
Absolutely, I agree with that 1,000%. So, what state is AEW in right now, Tommy?
It's in a state of panic. It definitely should be in panic because you're seeing decline in viewership, which is going to see a decline in money coming in. And we all know money talks. So let me just say that the company, if they don't turn the ship around, is going to end up like WCW. It's going to end up being down the dumps.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Because history's doomed to repeat itself. You've seen the blueprint of how to not run a company, have it go so high to go so low. Now, granted, they haven't hit the heights that WCW hit in their prime. They haven't come close to it.
Yes.
But you're seeing that trend. They had their high for a couple years. Now they're starting to kind of taper off and go down. They keep this shit up, it's not going to be on TNT anymore. And there's going to be a lot of people out of work.
All right, so here's what I want to do. I want us to go into our final comments. Tommy, do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, God. You had to get me to go first.
Absolutely, man.
All right. So, again, I want to throw out first and foremost, go on our Facebook group, which is Yankee Rebel Wrestlecast, and go into our featured. We have a featured list of everything that we have. You guys go get some of our merch. I want to see pictures posted of you guys in your Yankee Rebel Wrestlecast merch. Again, hashtag Logan Paul Sucks is one of the shirts in there. It has the full logo on the back, which I can't show it right now. The full logo, it's all the way on the back. Dave LaGreca Sucks shirts are out there, and then mine and Tommy's NWO style shirts. I'm the black and white NWO style. Tommy is the red and black Wolfpack NWO style. So whoever you support, you've got to get a shirt.
Right here, baby. Right there.
And we've got some great other shirts that are planned. And we have got such good ideas for t-shirts. They're great quality. They're not any of that nasty stuff that when you sit down, it like does this and you're like, it's hard to wash and everything. This is with this shirt washed already. No shrinkage, no mess up to the vinyl, nothing. So go get our merch. Socials, we are on YouTube, Facebook group, Twitch, and Twitter X, but we are under Yankee Rebelcast on Twitter. Yeah. Yankee Rebelcast on Twitter. And we need you guys to add us. We need you guys to talk with us. We want you to interact with us. And let me hit final comments because I like to produce this show.
Oh my God.
What is it?
Well, I got some breaking news from I was going through my feed and saw something on SmackDown.
Let's see.
Not to interrupt you. Jimmy Uso just got taken out by Tama Tonga.
So
Tama Tonga is in
up.
WWE.
That is beautiful.
Tama Tonga is in WWE. It looks like with the bloodline.
That is beautiful.
Solo Sikoa gave Jimmy Uso a hug and said, "I love you, my brother." And Tama Tonga takes him out from behind.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
That I never thought I'd see coming. Not to interrupt you, man, but I figured I had to share with everybody.
At all.
Damn.
So I don't really want to talk Logan Paul this week. I think it was bullshit that he actually kept the title. I think it's stupid. I hate Logan Paul. But let's talk about Dave LaGreca of Busted Open Radio.
Let's do it.
So I bet that I've tweeted this guy 35 times since our last show.
I bet you got no responses.
And his little scary ass has not responded, hasn't even acknowledged it. Nothing. Next week, we will have the official Yankee Rebel Wrestlecast world title belt.
Can't wait.
I bought the belt. And I'm ready to defend it against Dave LaGreca, and he still will not contact me. Do you get to a point where you are doing a live stream and all that you just get to the point that you forget about the little people in life?
I mean, he certainly has.
I mean, he's smoking cigars with Cody and got Jade Cargill on his show and all that stuff. And he's got three of the greatest people on his show. He's got Tommy Dreamer, Bully Ray, and Mark Henry on his show, which I've said multiple times, I respect the hell out of those guys.
Both of them.
They have gave so much to the world of professional wrestling. But this host won't even recognize me. His pink robe wearing ass will not acknowledge me. And I think it's the most disrespectful bullshit that anybody in the wrestling industry could ever do to somebody. That you think that you're so big because you're on Sirius XM. We could be on Sirius XM tomorrow. Somebody from Sirius XM could come and watch our show and be like, these guys could give Busted Open a little bit of competition. And now they're talking about they're going to do a 24/7 show. How you going to talk wrestling 24/7 unless you're running reruns?
Seriously.
So I'm going to make the challenge one more time. Dave LaGreca, next year at WrestleMania, you pick the location, you get us a ring, and you and I are going to go one-on-one for the Yankee Rebel Wrestlecast world title. I also want you to get a Busted Open belt, and we're going to put our belts up for grabs. You win your belt against me, I'll gladly hand it over to you. Because that's the type of man I am. I will acknowledge you. When are you going to acknowledge OG Rebel Brian? When are you going to acknowledge me, Dave LaGreca? Because I've already acknowledged you. I've already talked so much shit about you. You should acknowledge me. But it's because we are just now getting started and we don't have 15,000 people that are listening to us. And I'm just little time. Bro, listen, I was in radio over a decade. I have interviewed some of the greatest wrestling stars of all time, but I still have a humble attitude that if somebody messages me, I'm going to message you back because I'm not going to be that guy. So Dave LaGreca, your challenge is still up for grabs, brother. And I want your Cody Crybaby ass to get in contact with me, and I want to challenge you at WrestleMania weekend next year for the belts. Do you have enough money that you can buy a busted open belt? We're not even making money on this show, and I bought my belt. So, Dave LaGreca, I am challenging you to a match at WrestleMania next year. Bring your ass to this thing, and let's get it going. I'm sick and tired of him not responding to me. I'm sick of it.
But you can't be surprised. I mean, do you see what he does? Do you see what he looks like? I mean, come on, he's wearing his pink robe in his mom's basement.
I mean, it's just disrespectful. It's like, you got a chance to do something instead of taking your. I'm a big fat guy, but you're taking your shirt off in the middle of 1,000, 2,000 people at your busted nation people, and showing your man tits, and you're getting chopped by Thunder Rosa, but you won't contact me. It's just the stupidest shit in the world. It's just disrespectful to every podcaster and every live stream wrestling show in the nation. It's disrespectful.
Well, yeah, I mean, you and I have both said that. I mean, given he didn't have Bully Ray or, Mark Henry, he wouldn't have nearly the success that he's had.
No.
Like, not even close. Like, who would just tune in to listen to that asshole? You just sit there, talk, and whine, bitch, and complain. Now, I'm not saying Thunder Rosa can't throw a hard chop. But
Thunder Rosa could whoop his ass.
But you tell me you get chopped, you go, oh my God.
I mean, I would gladly take a chop from Ric Flair still. If Ric Flair wanted to give me a chop at WrestleMania or at an AEW show, I will gladly take a chop from Ric Flair. Hell, at this point, I'd take a chop from Gunther.
I was just going to say, put me in the corner, arm strap, and let Gunther slap me. I'll take it. But Dave LaGreca won't show his face. He can't even respond to you.
He don't want to respond to little old OG Rebel Brian because he's not producing 15, 20,000 viewers every week. And we're the low of the low. And it's like I'm living in a cardboard box over here.
Yep, and we're not worth talking about because we're not good enough and on his level.
Well, I hate to tell him, but we're coming. We're coming. This show is going to get hyped. And guess what? When this show gets huge, I'm still messaging people, and I'm still messaging people that want to talk about wrestling and still love wrestling, because I'm not some charlatan that wants to get big and then I'm up here on a pedestal looking down on the rest of the wrestling community.
Yeah, because at that point, it just looks like you're money hungry and you don't give a shit about the business.
That's all it is. He loves the business, but he just wants to hang out with the superstars. And it's bullshit. Tommy, your turn to rant.
I'm going to go back to my whole AEW scenario because it just irks me even more so, especially after talking with Aaron for the hour we had him, just about, the love of wrestling, the love of professional wrestling, and just doing your thing, keep chugging, keep pushing forward. And the fact that AEW was at one point going close to blow for blow with WWE at certain points and just giving us a different thing to watch that is just rejuvenated professional wrestling again. And I think got WWE to kind of shift their focus of, hey, this is kind of phased out. This is where we need to go. And I appreciate them for that. But now you're running around here shit talking CM Punk because he left and he's thriving. And Triple H said, "This ain't the Punk that used to be here. This man is a pleasure to have. He's a model employee doing everything." And then they go to show this whole Jungle Boy incident with Punk, and everything Punk said happened. Jungle Boy, being the crybaby bitch that he is, being protected by Daddy Tony, got to stay, and then they kicked Punk the scapegoat out the door. I mean, for what? And why are you now showing that footage all these months later when it's completely irrelevant and has nothing to do with anything? Just because Punk's having success in WWE and is thriving, and now when I try to take a pot shot at him, and it just looks worse on you and it makes you look like so sloppy. It just shows like you don't care about what you're doing, the product you're putting out. Because if this keeps coming up, you're going to be putting people temporarily out of jobs.
Jim Cornette was right. Jim Cornette was right about AEW.
Yeah, he certainly was. And there's a lot of things that I will disagree with him on. But there is some things that he hits the nail on the head. And that was one of them. And if they keep it up in the next year or two, I can see them being gone. Absolutely, completely gone. And I don't want that to happen because AEW is good for the business.
Yeah.
Or at least it was. Now it's so cringy to watch. Sometimes I'm afraid to even tune in. As a wrestling fan, it pisses me off to see just the mismanagement that we're seeing and just let the chickens just run the coop. Like there's no structure. Everyone just does what they want. It's a free-for-all over there. It's like something.
Who's the problem over there? Is it Tony Khan and the Bucks, or is it just Tony Khan?
Well, that all depends on who you think is actually running it. Do you think it's the EVPs or do you think it's Tony? I personally think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
Because Bucks being the EVPs, I don't think that segment happens unless they agree to it.
And Tony's in the gorilla.
Exactly. So he's calling these shots. So at some point, y'all got to get your head out of your ass because it's funny. It's funny. And this is the one thing I'll give Cody credit for. When he left AEW, if you look back on it, is when business started to fall. When he left, you start to see that downward spiral to where we are now.
Did it happen with Sting's retirement? Did the downward spiral happen with Sting's retirement?
That surely accelerated it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did he see something we didn't see?
He won't say. He won't say. But guys, before we go, I want to promote our special guest coming on next week. We have Rob Sweet coming on the show. 16-year wrestling veteran. Been in companies like TNA, Ring of Honor, CZW, and currently works for Extreme Wrestling Force. We're honored to have him to get a different side of the business than we got from Aaron and just to hear what he thinks about all this stuff and what's going on. So we're really excited to have him on. So tune in with us next Friday at 7 sharp. Please, I know we haven't mentioned it on the Wrestlecast, but you see that little dubby tub up there next to Brian's championship belt? You use our code YRWrestlecast to get 10% off your order. Really help us out. Go check out our featured merch. Buy some, wear it around, support us. Someone asks about us, send them our way. We love the support, guys. You've been growing rapidly, and we're going to keep growing. And I just got to say, for Brian and I, we greatly appreciate it, and we can't do it without y'all.
Absolutely, and I do have the graphic next to us with Rob Sweet. It's going to be fun to have a wrestler that was a part of TNA and ROH with us next week, and this guy is going to be a lot of fun. It is going to be a lot of fun having Rob Sweet with us next week, and I can't wait. He's currently with EWF, and he is making some major strides. So please come and support next week with us, because we are going to have a lot of fun with this guy, and he's going to talk about his career and what he's done in the industry, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, guys, I can't wait. So, guys, that is it for us tonight. For Yankee Tommy and Rebel Brian, thanks for tuning in. We will see y'all next week, assholes.
That's right. And Dave LaGreca sucks.
Balls.
Yes.